and heads there tomorrow to see the damage firsthand. Now, the road to recovery is without a doubt a long one. This line for gas near Tampa, as you can see there, power is still out for more than 1 million customers. Tom Hansen is in the community of Brandon near Tampa. Tom, good evening.
Tarika, good evening to you. Today, at just about every gas station we drove by, we saw scenes like this one. People waiting and waiting for gas. Take a look at the line behind me. You can see it stretches from the pump to where we're standing and around the corner. Today, you couldn't even see the end of it. Tensions boiled over north of Tampa. A brawl broke out at this gas pump line over long wait times.
They were fighting, like fist fighting. One girl hit another girl with a car.
Here in Brandon, Florida, how long have you been waiting here?
So just about almost going on 2 hours.
Frustrated, upset.
Governor Ron DeSantis, 37 million gallons of gas arrived at Florida today.
We have Florida Highway Patrol that will escort the tankers from the ports to the respective service stations.
3 across the state are closed. Many still don't have power to operate. Bottleneck. To get power back on, 50,000 linemen from as far away as Canada on the job and working. But are sit on survival 3 days after hurricane. Some places are still rising. We traveled into the hard-hit community of Valrico, where floodwaters have swallowed entire neighborhoods. Terry Rudd and his family are just now returning to see what's left.
This is going to be a mess here to try and rebuild.
They've lost a car, the floor in their home caving in.
We're going to cry a lot after this. The love that we have in this family is be there.
So clear. DeSantis announced that the state will provide up to 10 gallons of gas for those in need. Coast state-run sites.
Hansen, thank you so much. 2020. Former President Donald Trump makes a detour tonight to Deep Blue, California, and Vice President Kamala Harris is in North Carolina. New polling tonight from 2 battleground states shows what a tight race this is. Harris with a narrow lead in Pennsylvania and Trump with the advantage in Arizona. CBS's Nicole Killian is on the trail in California. Nicole?
This is no longer about Republicans.
Good evening, Jericho. We are in the Coachella magnet for stars like Beyonce, Billie Eilish, and others who have performed at an annual music festival here. But tonight, the former president is trying to make his own splash. Questions are being raised about his health. Supporters showed up early at this Coachella ranch, awaiting President Donald Trump.
I think that there are a lot of closet Trumpers in California.
But well before desert debut in her home state, Vice President Kamala Harris released her medical records. Physician stated in excellent health and possesses the physical and mental resiliency to serve as president, and only noted a few minor issues, including seasonal allergies and hives.
Today I released medical records, as has, I believe, every candidate for president of the United States except Donald Trump's cycle.
The campaign responded with a statement that described the 78-year-old former president in perfect and excellent health to be commander-in-chief and pointed to previous letters from his doctors. But earlier this year, Trump told CBS News he would make his medical records public.
Oh, sure. I would do that very gladly, sure. If you look at our borders, they're horrible.
Today, the former president courted Latino voters at a Nevada roundtable after vowing a crackdown on migrants who enter the U.S. illegally. The New York Times released its full interview with vice presidential candidate J.D. Vance, in which he repeatedly refused to say if former President Trump lost the 2020 election.
Do you believe it's the 2020 election?
I think that Donald Trump and I have both raised a number of issues with the 2020 election.
Senator, yes or no?
Okay.
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Let me ask you a question.
At a in Pennsylvania, he was asked again.
As I said in that interview, and I'm going to say to you right now, I think the election of 2020 had serious problems. You want to call it rigged? Call it whatever you want to. It wasn't okay.
Former President Trump heads to battleground Arizona tomorrow, while Vice President Harris does more outreach with black voters in North Carolina. Sharika?
Nicole Killian in Coachella, California, thank you. Tonight, the United Nations is warning against a, quote, catastrophic conflict as Israel fights Hamas and Hezbollah. In Gaza, Israel's military said it was operating with, quote, great force in Jabalia, killing at least 20 people. Israel also pressed ahead with its campaign in Lebanon. It's warned residents of 23 villages in the south to evacuate. CBS News senior foreign correspondent Elizabeth Palmer was taken by the Israeli Defense Forces into one of the villages along the Lebanon-Israeli border. The IDF reviewed our video but had no say in this report.
The Israeli military took journalists in an army convoy to see their recent push over the northern border.
We've just crossed into Lebanon, the Israeli Army's 91st Division. They've been inside Lebanon, boots on the ground for the past 2 weeks, trying to secure Israel's northern border against Hezbollah attacks.
We arrived in what had been a Lebanese farming village, now deserted. The only people here were Israeli soldiers and reporters.
We're about 2 miles inside southern Lebanon, in a village that Hezbollah had been using as a staging post. It's pretty much destroyed. There was real fighting here between the Israeli army and Hezbollah. They've been pushed back, but the Israeli forces say that they're meters away and still firing.
That boom was the Israelis shooting back. Part of the operation to attack Hezbollah strongholds in Lebanon and eliminate weapons and fighters, and especially their command structure.
This is the war zone, literally.
Colonel Roy Rousseau is the 91st Division's Chief of Staff.